Helldivers 2 creative director Johann Pilestedt has issued a virtue signal against the DEI agenda that his publisher Sony embraces, so much so that Sony says it is encoded in their DNA. I know a lot of people are already rushing to praise Pilestedt's comments, but I think we might be rushing in a little bit too fast, and we need to take a step back and look at what has been going on with Helldivers 2 over the past year, and we can see there are a plethora of examples of the company actually pushing the DEI agenda and not being opposed to it. And in my opinion, that means that what he's saying, while it sounds great, there is no action behind it, and it is all a virtue signal. And until we see some action behind it, then I will still call it a virtue signal. So let's get into this right here. I wrote this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. I encourage you to head on over, become a paid subscriber, help support us in fighting back against this woke ideology that is infecting the video game industry and is trying to destroy our society and culture. So as I said, Johann Pilestedt, he is the creative director for Arrowhead Game Studios and Helldivers 2. He was the former CEO, and he has issued a statement against the DEI agenda that Helldivers 2's publisher, Sony, embraces. So he made this comment over on X just ahead of the new year. He says, with 10 minutes to 2025, what are your expectations and desires for what the next Arrowhead game will be? I am working on the high concept, but I would love to hear your speculation. And this guy, ANX, said, never add DEI to your games. 100% true. Should not add DEI to your games. Elon Musk is 100% right about that. DEI kills art. It 100% does. And Pilestedt responded, if it doesn't add to the game experience, it detracts. So that is kind of a wishy-washy statement right there, right? He says, if it doesn't add to the game experience, it detracts, indicating that there is a possibility that it could add to the game experience. No, it cannot. DEI does not add to the game experience whatsoever. It only detracts. Let's be honest about that. Anyways, he goes on and says, and games should be a pure pursuit of amazing moments. 100% agree with that final sentence there. And obviously, that can be all kinds of different things because there's all kinds of different genres in the video game space, whether that be first-person shooter, whether that be an RTS, whether that be 4X, whether that be an RPG, whether that be an SRPG, roguelites, etc. They all can provide amazing moments depending on the genre. He was then asked by another user, how would DEI have benefited Helldivers 2? And Pilestedt said, I don't like labels, but mankind is united in its extreme xenophobia on Super Earth. Hashtag inclusion. So maybe that's DEI. It's absolutely not. If they're actually promoting inclusion, they would be having, they wouldn't be shooting the aliens that are trying to destroy Super Earth. They would be embracing them with open arms, welcoming them in, and letting them destroy things from the inside. That is what inclusion would be. So no, that is a very poor example on his part. Anyways, he goes on and says, I really don't care. Make good games. Don't make a contemporary political statement. And I think this is where people are maybe cheering him on here because he says, don't make a contemporary political statement. And I agree. They should not be making contemporary political statements with their video games, especially when we're talking about woke political statements, which is, for the most part, what we are usually talking about here when we're looking at kind of the political statements, ideologies in video games. It's all about pushing wokeness, which is evil, making these evil statements and trying to glorify and promote evil. That's what we are criticizing. We are criticizing them for doing that. And people, I think, like this. I think this is a good statement. However, is there action behind this statement? I don't think there is. And that's why I use the headline that this is a virtue signal, because I think this is a virtue signal and it's completely empty because we have GigaBear here. He's a gamer. He was banned from the Helldivers 2 Discord. He recently attempted to appeal his ban, and he was denied. He says the reason why he was banned is because he had a username that was GigaBear Grum's Superfan. And he says, I, of course, don't see how that's an issue, but if it were, simply asking me to change it would have been a very quick fix. However, no one communicated with him, and he was banned. And he tried to appeal that ban, and he was denied. And you can see right there, appeal status rejected. Your appeal has been rejected in Helldivers official Discord. And he says they must really hate Grum's sad. So they are making contemporary political statements with this game. they are not avoiding them, as he says. Do not make a contemporary political statement, make good games. Well, they are making contemporary political statements with this game and the community management around it. And we've seen this over the past year. We go back to March with Catherine Baskin. She's the head of the community management team there. And she says, plus, Helldivers is pretty woke, dog. Sounds like a contemporary political statement to me. Game was made by a lot of LGBTQ and brown people and black people and women, and it's a big satire of jingoism. Sounds like a contemporary political statement to me. It amuses me they don't know that Super Earth is bad. It also explains a lot about the world at present. And then Baskin went on to say, we only ban the bigots, transphobes, homophobes, racists, etc. are not welcome in our community. So they're basically banning Christians and admitting that they're banning Christians because most Christians are opposed to homosexuality. I would assume that they're banning Muslims as well, opposed to transgenderism, etc. So they're the ones being hateful. But hilariously, what does she say? We had to restrict the topics in the Helldivers 2 general chats for a while because it was triggering massive waves of hate speech, which our staff was struggling with emotionally. Right? Saying that they were being hit by hate speech, when indeed they're the ones promoting hate speech, right? And they're defending hate speech because they're promoting this idea, defending this idea that men can become women, women can become men, which they can't. They can't. That is not possible, no matter what kind of chemicals you induce into your body, no matter how many mutilations you take on. That is just not possible. Men cannot become women, women cannot become men. Not possible. And so they're defending all this stuff. And then obviously homosexuality is disordered, right? It rejects the complementarity between the sexes. I think that's pretty obvious how that is. Even though there's lots of people who will deny that and try to defend that, as we see here with Catherine Baskin. But they're the ones promoting, defending hate speech and trying to say that you are committing hate speech when they're the ones actually doing that. These people are always doing this, right? We see this all the time, trying to tell you that something good is evil and something evil is good. It's not true. It is a rejection of the truth. So we saw that from her, but no contemporary political statements, right? No contemporary political statements. Yet we're seeing lots of that in March. And it wasn't just in March, right? Fast forward to June, you've got this moderator in the Discord saying, hello, everyone, gender identity is not politics. It's literally someone's identity. No, it is politics. That person claiming it's their identity is suffering from all kinds of problems, spiritually, emotionally, physically, etc., and they need to get significant help, lots of help. And in many cases, they reject that. They reject trying to get help, and they try to indoctrinate other people into their sick, evil ideology. Anyways, the moderator went on and said, here in the Helldivers 2 server, we have a zero-tolerance policy of any sort of bigotry or hate. The topic of gender identity, especially this month, is not one that's not allowed. What isn't allowed is all the negativity towards people trying to celebrate who they are. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. That's absolutely awful advice. This Bambi advice that Thumper gives. Terrible. We should always speak the truth. We should speak the truth in charity, no matter the consequences. We should be speaking the truth, especially when it's something so evil as transgenderism and homosexuality. Also, in the same vein, if you are attempting to bait people by flagrantly injecting your sexuality into the combo just to start fights that will also result in a timeout, now it's time to move the topic along because it's very clear right now it's not one we can have civilly. And then the moderator went on and says, if you want to go ahead and vomit react to people's art that they put hours, days, even weeks or months into, I'm going to give you a 24-hour timeout. It's so rude. It costs nothing to literally not be a jerk. That's right. See, again, they're trying to say that you're a jerk for rejecting this degenerate propaganda. In this case, it was like some kind of like weirdo furry art, LGBTQ plus furry art. People didn't like it. We're vomit reacting to it. And because you're vomit reacting to it, you're a jerk. They're trying to demean you, demoralize you, punish you, and then they're going to go and ban you for it. 24-hour timeout. And then the moderator added here, this is also a reminder that if you try to reply to me in here, you can't because there's no typing in here. Everyone reacting to my post with a clown emoji is also lining up for a timeout. So getting banned for doing clown emoji to this moderator who is acting like a clown, trying to stop people from calling people out for what they are. It's like Fulton Sheen said, if you're going to act like a tramp, we're going to call you a tramp. If you're going to act like a clown, you're going to get called a clown. And then there's this alleged handbook that Grums shared as well earlier, or I guess back in 2024 now. And you can see here portion of that handbook says that a new user declares that identity politics have no place in video games, either Helldivers 2 or some other franchise. Outcome, immediate ban. This is a direct violation of rule number 1 in our server. Identity politics is code for marginalized groups like POC and transgender people. So if we actually followed this, you would think that Johann Pilestedt should be getting banned from his own Discord server, right? Because what is he saying here? Don't make a contemporary political statement, which I think if you use the same logic, it could be used the same thing. And he should be banned. He should be banned from his own Discord. And then on top of this, as I said at the very beginning, Sony literally embraces this DEI agenda and says that it's encoded in our DNA. It says diversity, equity, inclusion are encoded in our DNA and shape a vibrant corporate culture. Screenshot from the Sony website right there at the end of this article. So I think all of this that Johann Pilestedt is saying here is a massive virtue signal. There is nothing behind his words. It is all talk, no action. And that's how it should be treated until he actually does indeed take some action. And he can. Again, this is the former CEO. He is the chief creative officer. He can definitely take action against his community management team if he wanted to, yet he chooses not to. He allows them to continue to make contemporary political statements with Helldivers 2 and how they manage the Discord server for the game. So this is a giant lie, as far as I'm concerned at this point. Now, he can prove me wrong by actually taking action, but we shall see. I doubt that he will. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.